Hello stamping friends, it's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm here today with our live class. We do this every week at Too Cool Stamping, and it's 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, so I hope you can join me every week. So this week, lots of fun projects that I'm going to show you, and we're going to use the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set. I love this stamp set. It's so easy to use. This great big image right here is so pretty. In just a couple of different layers of stamping, you can get a beautiful card, beautiful background, add a sentiment, and you're good to go. There's also some dies that go with it, the mini layered Blossoms dies, and this is also a two-layer die that we're only going to use one of the layers today, but you have kind of more of an outline layer, and then also a little bit more of a solid layer so that you can layer the different die cuts, and those are beautiful too. So anyway, that's a really cool bundle that we're going to be featuring today, the Blossoms in Bloom bundle. And speaking of bundles, have you got your free bundle? You know, you can get this very bundle for free when you purchase a starter kit. And I love this deal. We're already halfway through June, so there's only 2 weeks left, but this is a phenomenal deal. If you've thought about wanting to join my team and get a discount, it's the perfect time. If you have a big wish list, if you have a ton of things that you want from the brand new catalog, it is the perfect time to purchase that starter kit. It's only $99. You get to select $125 worth of product for that price. You get free shipping on that order, and that's the normal starter kit, which is amazing in and of itself. But in June only, you can pick a free bundle, and this is one of the many bundles that you can pick. And it's any bundle from the catalog, any of the punch bundles, any of the die bundles. I was trying to remember how many there are. Are there 27? I counted them at one time, but just look in the back of the catalog, or if you're online, you can just search for die cutting bundles and punch bundles, and you'll see all the different ones you can choose from. Some of them are up to $50, $60, so it's quite a savings, and you get that for free when you purchase that $99 starter kit. Like I said, you get $125 worth of product, you get free shipping on the order, that free bundle, it's a tremendous savings. And then after that, you're going to be part of my Too Cool team, and you'll get a chance to have, or you'll automatically have, just from purchasing the starter kit, a 20% discount on all of your orders. Now I wanted to give a shout out because I have had several people who have joined my team this week, and let me get my list out here. I have shout out to Diane, Joan, Brenda, Joyce, Linda, and Rita have all just recently joined my Too Cool team and taken advantage of that starter kit. It's just, there's no strings attached. One of the biggest questions I have when people are, kind of thinking about it is, oh, but I don't want to sell, and I don't want to do what you're doing, and I just do this as a hobby. So the starter kit isn't for me. But that's not true. The starter kit is for anybody who wants to be a happy and enthusiastic discount shopper and buy all of the stamps that you want. So at that 20% discount, it's just an awesome, it's an amazing deal. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. If you have any hesitations, I'm telling you, there shouldn't be any hesitation. If you have a big wish list, if you're going to be placing a $100 order anyway, buy that starter kit. It just makes a lot of sense. Ask me if you want more details about it. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. I just haven't seen as good of a deal on the starter kit for at least a year. It might have been a couple years ago. We had some ink pads when they did a color switch, and that was a really good deal. But they don't have these really awesome starter kit deals very often. And the fact that they are having it during the release of a new catalog, when I know, if you're like me, your wish list is already huge. So why not, purchase that starter kit and get some savings on those products? It'll make you able to get a lot more product, and you'll just be happier because you'll you'll have a little bit of savings on that. Plus, you'll be part of the Too Cool team, and there's lots of perks for that too, and I'd love to talk to you about that. So contact me. I'd love to hear from you. You can go to toocoolstamping.com and click on the email link there to contact me. Okay, real quick, the other special that's going on right now, only in June, is the catalog kickoff celebration, and you get 25 extra Stampin Rewards dollars when you hit that $250 level with your order. So that can be if you're going to have a workshop, host some of your friends and they place orders together that total $250, or if you have a great big wish list and you're just interested in placing your own order of $250 or more. It's a good time for that because you're going to get you usually would get 10% back in Stampin Rewards dollars, so that's $25 you're going to get automatically any day of the year. But for June only, you get an additional $25 at that $250 sales level and or order level, and so you're going to get at least $50 to spend on free product on that order. So again, I feel like Stampin' Up! Has pulled out all the stops for June. They have a lot of really awesome things happening. Again, you can find all the details out at toocoolstamping.com. Okay, today let's talk about excuse me, our Blossoms in Bloom projects. I'm going to flip the camera around. We're going to do several projects, and then we are going to have a class kit that you can earn when you place an order with me. And I'll have details about that when after we get some of our projects done. So let me hold on for a second. Close your eyes if you want to. We're going to flip the camera around. So sorry about my hand there in the way. All right. We're going to just line this up a little better. There we go. Okay, and so if you are familiar with our, let me get my, whoops, sorry about that. I have something here on the side that I'm not sure why it's having a little black mark. Let's see if we can change it a little bit. Sorry. Okay, it's a little bit better. Okay. So if you're familiar with how I do my live class, I show several projects, and then I have about 6 cards that I will give you all the parts and pieces to make along with the video. All you need to do to earn that free kit is to place at least a $35 order at my toocoolstamping.com page and use the host code. You have to use the host code. Now, I do want to mention, if you're going to place a $150 order or more with me, don't use the host code. You'll be able to earn Stampin' Rewards dollars on a $150 order, and I want you to enjoy those. And so don't use the host code. I'll just automatically send you a live kit. Okay, let's get started with our projects for today. Again, we're going to be featuring the Blossoms in Bloom stamp set and also the mini layered Blossoms dies. So this is such a cool stamp set. Not only do I love the watercolory, detailed, it's a distinctive set, so you get a lot of shading in there. I love the images, but the sentiments are really nice too. Birthday, thinking of you, hello, thank you, get well soon, all kinds of sentiments. So it's a kind of an all occasion type of a set too. So I love that. All right, our very first card, we're going to be playing with the new in color Misty Moonlight. I love that one. It's kind of a tie between Misty Moonlight and Just Jade for my favorite, but I absolutely love Misty Moonlight. So this is going to be our card base. Next, I'm going to move some of this out of the way. Since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I'm going to use this piercing mat, and you won't be able to find this in the catalog. I'll have to look the number up. They were going to retire this, and everyone threw a big fit about it, and they brought it back. So it is still available. But I'm going to put that underneath there. That's going to give you a little bit more cushion when you're doing the stamping, so you'll have a better transfer of ink. So I have a Whisper White piece here, and it's just 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to ink this up, and we're going to do kind of a two-tone look. I'm going to start with Seaside Spray, and you'll notice that instead of stamping into the ink pad, whoops, I just put that right on my hand. Did you see that? That was really silly. Instead of putting the stamp onto the ink pad, I'm just putting the ink pad right onto this larger stamp. It has little kind of notches here, so it's easy to do that. It's easy to handle it. So that's Seaside Spray. Then I'm going to use my little sponge dauber and some Highland Heather, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of Highland Heather right in the center of each of the flowers. So if you start with a lighter color and then you're adding a darker color to it, there is a little bit of a mix of ink here, and there's a possibility for some contamination a little bit. So if you're doing a lot of cards this way, you might want to, use some refill ink or something like that that's not directly on the ink pad. But if you're just doing a few cards, that little bit of contamination shouldn't hurt your ink pad too much. Okay, so there's Highland Heather. Now we're going to stamp this right onto our Whisper White. And give that a nice press. Make sure that you kind of leave it there for a couple of seconds so that ink can absorb into the paper. And then you can see that you get this beautiful two-tone image, kind of the darker Seaside, or the lighter Seaside Spray with the darker purple Highland Heather center. So I love that, really cool. Then we're going to add some Misty Moonlight flower centers. And these go on pretty easy. There we go. Next, let's add some leaves. We're going to do that one in Mint Macaron. And there's several different leaf images. I like this one's kind of the medium size. And we're just going to add some of these going around the edge. There we go. Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna, there's some spaces in between here, and I'm just gonna cover those up too with some additional leaves. So it just kind of fills that in a little bit. So this is what it's looking like so far. Isn't that beautiful? You've got a beautiful background already, and really all you need to do is add a sentiment. We're gonna add a few other layers before we do that. So here is our stamped layer. I'm gonna use, for the first time ever, the Stampin' Seal adhesive. Have you guys got this? You definitely need to try this out. It's better than snail. It's more secure. You're gonna be able to, it's not gonna pop off in humid conditions. Like here in Indiana, it's really humid this week. We have some high temperatures. So sometimes my cards start pulling apart with snail. But this new Stampin' Seal, it's a Stampin' Up! Exclusive. You get a few more yards on it than you did with the snail adhesive, and it's gonna stick much better. And I'll have to do another little video because there's actually another Stampin' Seal Plus that is very similar to the old Fast Fuse that Stampin' Up! Used to carry, a really, really secure, almost like tear and tape that is on a nice roll. And that's available too. I highly recommend that as well. And both of the refills will fit into the same style of case, so you can interchange, and that's just really cool. So this is, and it lays down so smoothly. You just have to try it out to really understand how lovely it is. But I really love that it's a lot more secure than snail, because here in Indiana in the summer, it's a must. Okay, I have one little strip here of the Seaside Spray texture. It's just a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. Sorry, by 5. And I've already textured it with that Tasteful Textile, I believe, is the name of the embossing folder. I love that one. That one is such a, it's kind of a, just really versatile. It's kind of like the subtle folder. It just goes with everything. So I'm going to put this right down the side here. And then before I put it on my background, I'm going to add a little bit of this new twine that it has Whisper White and Misty Moonlight, and then it's wrapped with a silver thread. It's so, so very pretty, and just a little touch of sparkle with that silver. And so I'm going to add that. This is from the Forever Greenery ribbon pack, which I believe is currently on back order. But if you get the kit, I'm going to have that in your kit, so you don't need to worry about that. And you can order it later when it comes available again. All right. So just tie that in a double knot. And if you want to, you can kind of fray the edges out a little bit. I'm just going to leave it kind of like that. So I'm going to use this seal, Stampin' Seal again. Add that to my Misty Moonlight background. And then we'll finish up with a little sentiment. I've used the Tasteful Labels dies to make a purple posy little banner. And I'm going to stamp the Thinking of You in Misty Moonlight right on the top there. We'll pop that up with some dimensionals. And kind of finish that off. Put that right here in the corner. I love the design of the flowers. They just, you know, when Stampin' Up's putting them together, they have little areas that just make sense to, you know, about where you're going to put the sentiment, little openings that you can use for that. Let's finish up with a little bit of sparkle. You know we need some of that. I'm just going to use some regular basic rhinestones, and I'm going to color them with the dark Highland Heather Stampin' Blends markers. I just love that you can get any color that you want in embellishments, and all you have to do is use your Stampin' Blends on your rhinestones or even your pearls, and you can get whatever color that you want. So I like to use the fine tip end, kind of the bullet tip end, and just gently go around the jewel. Don't push really hard because you don't want to hurt the tip of your marker. Whoops. But it just adds just a little bit of color, and it's good to use the dark version of whatever marker you're going to be using. So just a couple of little sparkles. So there's our first card. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the blues. So, so pretty. I did a Too Cool version. And this one, I used the brand new Magenta Madness color. And that is just such a bright and cheerful color. I love that. We also used, so I used Magenta Madness, and then I sponged on the Gorgeous Grape in the centers of those. The leaves are all with the Granny Apple Green. The insides, I actually used Mango Melody. You could use the new Bumblebee if you wanted to. But I really liked kind of more the oranginess of the Mango Melody. And then I used this new ribbon, that's the Bumblebee Gingham ribbon. The Bumblebee ribbon actually matches that Mango Melody pretty well. And then I used Bumblebee cardstock here with the birthday sentiment stamped in Gorgeous Grape. And I used the stitched rectangles to as a die cut for that, to get that faux stitching along the edge. And then these really cute little sequins, those are brand new. I want to show you those. They're the Artistry Blooms adhesive back sequins, and let me put some white behind it. So you have a lot of different colors. You have 4 different colors, and they really look beautiful with so many different variations of that. So Mango Melody or Bumblebee or Daffodil Delight, any of those are going to look great for that one. This one's kind of more like a poppy parade or a calypso coral. This one is a pool party, or you might even be able to, it's kind of even close to the mint color. Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, all of that kind of matches. And then the last one, kind of a raspberry, rich raspberry. It might even go a little bit with Mary Merlot. So lots of different options to use with these Artistry Blooms sequins. Love those. Okay, so that's our first two. Next, we're gonna start with a basic gray cardstock, our card base. We're gonna put a cool background in with the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. I love this paper pack. It has a lot of realistic images. This is kind of a realistic wood grain. And if you have problems starting this, sometimes if you have a really slick surface, it doesn't want to grab, you can always just use your finger to kind of advance that just a teeny bit, and then the sticky will come out enough that it'll grab. I think that that's just, I'm going to learn how to learn how to hold it a little bit differently than my snail, and then it'll work just perfectly. All right, so we're putting that on the background. That's a 4 by 5 1/4 piece. Next, we're going to stamp on a little piece of 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. We need to clean our large Blossoms in Bloom image. And I have my Simply Chamois. I love this. This is great for quick cleanups. Let me get this out of the way because I don't want to accidentally get ink on it. But I just put that whole image on there, kind of give it a squish squish. Sorry, I know I'm probably moving our camera around a little bit. But, so that's all nice and clean. I'm going to, this time, we're going to stamp in Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to ink this up in Flirty Flamingo. And we're just going to stamp a portion of it on this little card here. Let's see how I want to do this. I think I'm going to do these like so. Let me make sure I'm on my piercing mat. So I really didn't need to ink the whole thing up because we're only going to use a partial. And while I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and clean that. So a little squishy squish, and that'll be ready to go for our next project. It really does help if you do it on a table, though. I was trying not to do it on the table because I know I'm going to make the camera go shaky. Or you can even pick it up and just use it like a cloth. That might be the easiest way to do this large. Yeah, I think that will work the best. Okay, so that's ready for the next time. So we'll finish up this piece with, we're going to use one of the smaller flowers and the new Bumblebee. And we'll just add a couple of those. I totally did this completely backwards because I was supposed to put a sentiment down here. But I'm going to finish this up and then you can see we might have to just put another little sentiment over the top of it. Okay, next we're going to have our leaves. This is in Pear Pizzazz. And we'll add some of those. Okay. Next, I'm going to put some flower centers in there, and we're going to use the basic gray so that it will match our background. So I'm going to use this little tiny dot that goes right in the, I'm actually going to stamp off once, I think, just for a light. Probably could have used the smoky slate. And the the dotted flower center image. Let me clean that off on my chamois. We're gonna stamp that with basic gray as well in the full strength. There we go. All right. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of Wink of Stella shimmer over all of the flower petals. I just love this extra little bit of sparkle. Let me get my other one. This one's running out of juice, I think. Here we go. I don't know whether the camera is going to pick up the sparkle, but it is so pretty to add Wink of Stella on just about anything. Just adds that subtle glisten. So I'll hold this up and see if the light will catch that a little bit. You can kind of see a little bit of the sparkle there. All right, we'll add that to a basic gray background. And this is going to be 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then, let's see, we're going to put some of this really pretty gray granite shimmer ribbon. I love this. It's a lovely neutral color. Goes with so many things. We're not even using gray granite on this card, but it goes really well with the basic gray. It's almost a silver, or kind of with a little bit of a taupe color in it, but just really pretty. Again, very versatile, a lovely neutral. So we'll do that in a double knot, a little faux bow. And then we're gonna add a little texture to the background. Did you see these really pretty doilies? These are like a vellum, and they're square, and you can buy a whole pack of those. I'm gonna cut this in half. We're just gonna use one half of it, and we're gonna have it stuck, just kind of sticking outside of this. So let's use our Stampin' Seal again. Whoops. It gets a little bit slick sometimes, and also it's not, because of that ribbon, it's not completely down onto the surface, so it's kind of hard to get started sometimes. So I'm gonna just stick that out a little bit, and then we're gonna pop this up with dimensionals and add it to our card front. All right, so here is our card front. We're gonna put this right here, and then I'm gonna have to go back and add another little layer. Maybe, I think what I'm gonna do is, if I have some extra, do I have any extra within reach? I don't have one piece of white cardstock within reach. Yes, I do. I lied. Here's a little scrap. Let's just fix my problem, and you'll see in a minute what I did. So I'm gonna just stamp my hello. See if I have it. I don't have my stamps in there. They're over at my other desk. All right, we're gonna do thank you on the fly. All right, so let's just add this. We could punch this out with a classic label punch, or one of the stitched rectangle dies. But I am just going to cut a little rectangle here, and then I'm going to add that with some Stampin' Seal. Whoops, it's having trouble advancing. It's kind of like a slick surface. Oh no, this isn't a very good selling feature. Why isn't it advancing? There we go. All right, so I'm just gonna add that right about there. And that doesn't look too bad. It wasn't how I had planned it. This is actually what I had planned, to actually put the sentiment on the original piece here and then put the flowers around that. Either way, looks kind of cute. You can always fix mistakes. There's usually some way that you can improvise and fix. It may not be what you had planned, but the recipient of your card doesn't know what was in your mind when you were creating it. So they don't know that you made a mistake. And maybe sometimes it turns out to be even better. I kind of actually like this sentiment up here a little bit better. Has a lot more balance to it. Okay, let me show you my Too Cool version. So I did this one also in the basic gray. I used a different pattern from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. My vellum is on the other side, and then I used some different color combinations here. I used Pool Party, Pear Pizzazz again for the leaves, and then I used Just Jade for the little flowers. And that was, instead of using these medium-sized flowers, I used those little flowers, so a little bit different. But otherwise, pretty much the same style of card. I love how you can just change some colors, change the layout just a little bit, switch some of the elements around, and it looks a little bit different. So those are the Too Cool versions of those. All right, next, we're gonna have some fun with some of one of the die cuts from this stamp set, or from this bundle, I mean. The Mini Layered Blossoms has some really pretty die cuts, and I showed those to you earlier. We're gonna use this one with the more of the outline. And let me get some of these colors out of the way. And I need to clean, did I clean it? Yep, we've already cleaned it up from last time. Okay, so we're ready to go. For this one, we're going to use Coastal Cabana. We have a thick Whisper White card base. And I have another layer here of the Whisper White. Again, this is 3 3/4 by 5. I'm gonna just ink this up with my Coastal Cabana. All right, make sure I'm on that piercing mat. And I'll press that down. Give it a couple seconds so the ink will absorb. And so that's my Coastal Cabana. And while I'm here, I'm just going to use that chamois. Yeah, this is much faster to just get it, use it like a little wet wipe or a little towel, and it just cleans it right up. Okay, next, we're going to add the flower centers. So I'll have to clean that up from the last time. We're going to add that in Mango Melody. Give a little pop of bright yellow in there. Okay. All right. Then I want to show you what this looks like with a black die cut. And I found that it is a very intricate die cut. I had to run it through. I did not use the precision plate since we're when we get the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss, it's going to be, it's not going to have a precision plate. So I just ran it through like 2 or 3 times, and the pieces were just falling out. So I love that it really cuts very, very well. So you can see when you line this up on here, it's going to line up perfectly with all of those flowers. And then when you have some other pieces here that don't have flowers behind them, those are some of the other stamped images from the set. You could leave it like this. I think it looks really pretty to just leave it like that. But let me show you how I went about adding those, because you have to kind of line them up a little bit, which isn't super hard to do. But I'm going to use the Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to use this larger leaf here. And once I have everything lined up, I'm just going to kind of line this up ahead, or right over the top, kind of position it, and then stamp it. And then you can see where it may not be perfect, but it'll be very close. And then we'll do the same thing down here at the bottom. There's another one that's kind of like that. Just kind of position it, move it out of the way, and put it back down. We're going to do the same thing with, let's see what we have here. With the flowers, this time we're going to use the Highland Heather. So we'll ink that up, and we're going to kind of position it again right over where that flower is going to be. Stamp down. Whoops, I missed a little bit of color. See if I can add to it. There we go, not too bad. There's, I think the other flower is this flower down here is actually the other flower shape. So I'm going to clean that from our last card and then stamp that in Highland Heather again. So again, I'm going to position it right over where it goes and then stamp down. Sorry about my dogs are going crazy upstairs. All right. Oh, we have a couple more leaves there. So I have my kind of medium-sized leaf. I'm going to put that where I want it. There's one over here on this side. Again, it's not perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. And then the last one is just this little tiny leaf that goes right next to this one, and another one right next to this one. All right, so that lines up pretty well. Now we're going to add that, and we're going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue to add that. And this is one of my favorite ways to do intricate die cuts on, to adhere them onto your project. I use my silicone mat and a little bit of the multi-purpose green cap glue. I have a little sponge here that the sponges obviously they come in a big circle. I just cut them into little pie shapes. And we're going to dab a little bit of glue on there, and you can kind of use this over and over and over. And then I'm going to use my little scrap piece here as a place to, usually you want to have I get like copy paper. I didn't bring one over though, but if you have like copy paper or some kind of scrap paper that you can flip this over, because your surface is going to get pretty glued up. So I'm just going to kind of do it in the air just to show you so I don't get a bunch of glue all over. But if you just dab it all over, make sure you're not moving your die cut around, otherwise it's going to get the glue that's gone through to your background sheet. But you'll have just enough on there that it'll stick really well. All right. We'll add this over the top. Get it nice and lined up, and then push that down. It works so well to add that to a layer, so that's a great tip. All right, next we're going to have a piece of Highland Heather. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and we're going to use that as our background mat. And now I'm like, where's my Stampin' Seal? It's right here. I don't know why I'm having trouble getting it going. There we go. I think I'm not holding it right. I'm gonna have to practice. I'm gonna get some tips, and I'm gonna tell you guys what all the tips are for using it. All I know is it sticks a lot better. So it's already awesome in my book. Okay, we're gonna layer this onto our thick Whisper White card base. Remember, if you're using the Whisper White for a card base, you definitely want the thick version, because that's going to be a lot more sturdy. So pretty. Again, we're just going to add a little sentiment. I've already die cut with the rectangles stitched, what's it called? Stitched rectangles dies. There's so many different stitched dies, and they're all very, very lovely. Okay, this time we're going to use Thank You, and we're going to use the Memento Black to match that black die cut. We're going to start in the middle, and then I'm going to add another. I don't think I got that inked up yet. And then one more underneath. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we'll use some dimensionals to pop that up. All right, and we're just going to add that again right in the corner. And that is our die cut card. Really pretty. I love how the die cuts hang over just a little bit over that little matte border. So pretty. All right, I did another version, my too cool version, and this time I did it with the white die cut. I wanted to see what it looked like with white, and I stamped excuse me, I stamped my flowers with petal pink. The other flowers and the insides of these flowers are with Flirty Flamingo. The leaves are with Mint Macaron. And then I have a petal pink card base, a Flirty Flamingo layer, and then we finished it up in the same way with the sentiment. So really, really pretty. I love that color combination. I love both of the color combinations. This is my too cool stamping colors, so I really love that. So that is the third card. I have one more card, pretty simple to put together. Again, I start with the Misty Moonlight card base. I really love this color. I couldn't resist doing one more card in this color. I also have a layer here of Misty Moonlight, and I've embossed it with the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but just a really, it's a subtle texture of little diamonds, kind of dotted diamonds, and it's pretty on both sides. The deboss side is actually the side I'm going to use. Just nice and smooth with a whole bunch of different dots in the diamond pattern. The other thing I love about the Stampin' Seal is it really works well on textured layers. I know a lot of times you'll hear me say, you know, if you have a textured layer, you want to put that on with tear and tape because you want a little bit of more of a secure hold. The Stampin' Seal works really well to hold that texture down. So the other piece of the background, I have a little piece here of the In Color Magenta Madness and that pack of In Color Designer Series paper. That's a great one to have on hand to just give you a little pattern, little accent element. I love those colors together, really pretty. All right, I've also have a Stitched Shapes oval die cut from Whisper White, and we're going to get my bucket over here. We're going to do some stamping of the flowers, the little tiny flowers. And let me get some of this ink off and clean it up with my chamois. Before we do that, I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made the last time, and that was I need to stamp the sentiment first. It helps with positioning. So you'll know exactly where you're going to put where you want to put your flowers when you have your stamped sentiment on there first. So I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday right in the center, just with some Memento black ink. Now I can know exactly where I want to put all of my flowers. So we're going to put one here, one over here, so you can kind of make it go around those words. A lot easier when you have the sentiment on there already. All right, next we're going to add a Bumblebee center, flower center, if I can find the flower center. There's so many different stamps on my desktop that I am not finding it for some reason. La 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 la. That never happens to you guys, right? You don't lose your images. Here it is. I stuck it in another one of the buckets. We used it with basic gray before, so we'll get that ink off. You can see how easy the chamois just really comes in handy when you're trying to do quick color changes. All right, so we have Bumblebee ink. Just pop some color right in the centers. I love this stamp set that you have that great big image, but the smaller flowers are also really versatile for making little accents and little background stamped areas. And there's also little dies that go with them too. So you can cut an overlay that goes right over the flowers. Really fun, lots of versatility. Okay, next we're going to use the mint macaron and the little tiny flower, or the little tiny leaf. We'll clean that up. That had pear pizzazz last time. So mint macaron. And we'll just add that around these little flowers. Let's see, let's go over here. There's a little more room there. And then that looks good. And then this time we're going to use these little tiny flowers. There's 2 of them, 2 different shapes. And we're going to use the Misty Moonlight for that. Oops. I'm going to put one up here. We're going to put one right here. And you can see how I have this set up where on one corner I have one, and then I flip it over, and the other corner I have the other one. So that's a nice little trick if you don't want to use a different block for every single one, and it's something very small like that, you can just add 2 stamps to 1 block. Okay, so there's our cute little focal point. We're going to pop that up with some dimensionals. Okay, we'll add this to our card. We're going to also add some rhinestones like we did to the other card. So just some regular rhinestones. This time I have the Magenta Madness Dark. And again, just adding some color. And we'll just float those around by the flowers as well. I think I'm going to move this one. We'll see if we can move it without ripping the paper. Yep, there we go. All right. And then one more thing, we need another little pop of texture. I used the Just Jade Gingham ribbon from the Forever Greenery ribbon trim pack. Tied that in a little bow, and I'll just add that with a glue dot. So I just press it right on the glue dot, and I'm just going to make a sweet little bow right here. There you go. So there is our last card. Sweet and simple. And let me show you the second, the Too Cool version. So this one I had Just Jade as the background. I used a different pattern from the In Color Designer Series paper. This is a nice little type pattern. And then I used a different embossing folder. This one is called, oh, it's something about Meadow. I'll have to look it up. But it's something about Meadow, and it's one of the mini folder combo packs. So it's only about 3 inches wide, but it has little flowers that really match those little flowers, and some leaves that look really nice, and then some little butterflies. So I love that. I used the Bumblebee color for the flowers, mint macaron for the leaves, the Magenta Madness for the centers, and then the Misty Moonlight again for the little tiny flowers. And then you'll have the Magenta Madness. I'm getting tongue-tied. The twill ribbon is for the bow. And again, this is one of the items that is currently not available. It was so popular, and they're having a little bit of shipping delays to get the second batch back in. But so the in-color ribbons are currently not available for order, but I will have them for our card class here. So you'll get all of the pieces. If you want to earn this kit, you'll get all of the pieces to make these cards. And let me show you what you get in your kit. You're going to get, trying to remember what I had there. Da, 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 da. All right, so you'll get this one die cut. You'll get these two cards that we just did. You'll get this sponged version and the Magenta Madness sponged version, and then also one of these wood grain cards. So you can check out the doily for that. So this is your card class. Again, all of the parts and pieces are going to be included in your card class kit. That includes the embossing. You'll get the die cut, already die cut. You'll just have to pop out some of the little pieces. You'll have all of the accents, the doily, everything will be included. You just add the stamping and the adhesives and any inks that you would need. And a lot of these I have designed, you know, like this one, you can do those in any inks that you have available. You know, it helps to have some kind of a gray, but you could do those flowers in any color. And if you have some of the in-color inks, these two are going to be easy to make. This, again, it does have the purple matte, but you can use just about any ink colors with that as well, because it's mostly white. And these two are a little bit more, you would need to have the colors available to make them pretty similar to these cards, since they have the magenta and the Misty Moonlight backgrounds. But other than that, a lot of versatility there with things that you may already have in your stamping collection. So that's our card class. How do you get the card class? Remember, you just need to place a minimum $35 order. Go to toocoolstamping.com, click on the Shop Now link, and you must use the host code that I have listed here, TBPJ6KY2. Use that on the host code unless you're having an order of $150 or more. If you have an order at that level, you will earn Stampin Rewards dollars, and I want you to be able to spend those, so don't put the host code in. I will automatically send you a live kit. Now you'll have until next Tuesday to earn the kit. I'm trying to think of what that date is. I don't have it written down. 21, 22, 23, I think it's the 24th. Don't quote me. I'll have it written down in the description, but it's next Tuesday will be your last day to earn that, and then I will ship everything out by the following Saturday. I'll have all that in the details on this post later today, and I'll also have it later today on my toocoolstamping.com blog site. All right, so Blossoms in Bloom, how'd you guys like it? Do you love this bundle as much as I do? It's such a versatile, all occasion type of a bundle, and so much fun to do some different floral techniques for the background and for focal points. Really, really fun. Blossoms in Bloom, and then the mini layered blossoms dies. All right, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed today's class, and if you have any questions or comments, be sure to put them in the comment section below, and I look forward to stamping with you again next week on Thursday, right here live, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, this is Angie with Too Cool Stamping. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.